Everyone, welcome back to the Hunt Club podcast. Today we have a product briefing with our amazing Tiff from the product marketing team. I want to say hello to the audience.
Hey everyone, excited to share what's new in the Vectra AI platform.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about release 9.5, which is our most recent release. Yes, it says September, but we're releasing this in October just so that we can cover what happened last month. But there's going to be more, obviously, in October. Okay, let's just get started right away.
Yeah, so tell us more about, we always start with coverage. So if
Mm.
you from previous podcast before, we think to defend against modern attackers, to defend your modern network against modern attackers, we need coverage, clarity, and control. So let's start with coverage and tell us more about this Silver C2 coverage, Zoe.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely speaks to our coverage story here. And what I want to start first to talk about what Silver C2 is. It's an open source command and control framework that was previously used for red teaming, but now threat actors are using it to control compromised systems stealthily. So excuse me, I have a cold. So, it supports cross-platform implants, encrypted comms, and an advanced post-exportation tactics. So it's a powerful and flexible tool for red teaming. But what's happening is actors or threat actors are taking that and then actually using it on, real systems, real environments, and they're using it as a alternative to tools like Cobalt Strike because now that we have detections and coverage for Cobalt Strike. They want to find an alternative that works the same way, but goes undetected. So what Vectra did here is that we have new detection coverage for that Silver C2 framework. And what it does is we take our AI and our deep machine learning to detect those like subtle decrypted beaconing behaviors that looks like normal traffic, that looks like normal traffic, but is actually malicious for those threat actors. So what this really does for you and for security teams that improves early detection of stealthy C2 activity that traditional tools often miss. So really talking about that coverage story that we are always emphasizing there, try to get that coverage on new attack methods and things that are not seen as or not as visible as you want them to be. So yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, I think this morning we had a customer conversation and they asked us what do we do to enhance our coverage and
Mhm.
create detections in the Vector AI platform. And I think it's really down to a few things, attack techniques in the wild, obviously, but also red team tools, that the known techniques that's
Yeah.
often tested by these different red teamers. We will also cover it. So this is one of the example on our coverage, and we cover both known and unknown techniques out there. So to make sure customers really get the best modern network protection.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an entire dedicated security research team and a lot
Yeah,
of very, very amazing and smart people that are really in touch with, attack trends. So
yeah,
the coverage that we have is also always getting better and better each time.
yeah.
So our next coverage enhancement here is Azure Suspect VM logging change. And I know to have some thoughts about this.
Yeah, so this is a new detection that we have in the Azure cloud environment, the control plane. So we all know that attackers love hiding their activities for the things that they do after they gain initial access and before they cause damage. One of the things is that they love disabling or degrading loggings, which is making security teams really difficult, really giving them a really difficult time to find their activities. So this new detection highlights suspicious activities about modifying loggings on Windows, Linux VM scale sets, and hybrid machines. What it means for you is really more visibility into attacker activities before they can cause damage. So you can stop the attack much earlier before they reach your sensitive data or exfiltration.
That's amazing. Once again, that coverage story. That's really awesome. So we also have more coverage for Azure crypto mining detections. Can you speak more about this?
Yeah, sure. So this is an enhancement to our existing Azure crypto mining detections. So what we did is really about providing you with better fidelity by filtering out activities that's tied to modification of existing compute instance. So we don't only launch detections, but over time, depending on the performance of it and customer environment, we tune those to make sure they have the best signal clarity for our customers. So this is one of the example where we create and provide better fidelity for our customers.
Absolutely. And it almost kind of touches on our clarity story too, huh? Right? Because like refining our detections, we're refining our coverage. So that's really interesting too. It's all interconnected.
Yeah, it's really about quality instead of quantity. So one of the things about
Right.
Vectra is we don't flood you with overwhelming amount of alerts. We don't tell you everything that's happening. We only tell you the things that's truly urgent and real.
Mhm.
So can really do something about it in the critical moments.
Yeah. And speaking more about just, telling, the security teams what really matters here, we also enhance our M365 detections. So can we kind of dig a little bit more into that?
Yeah, of course. So our M365 coverage really provides you visibility into your Microsoft 365 apps, which includes SharePoint, OneDrive, Power Automate, Outlook, etc. And one of the things that we know attackers love doing is that they love doing suspicious mailbox activities, such as creating new rules or doing mail forwarding so that they can forward sensitive data to their external emails, etc. So what this new enhanced detection do is that we provide more visibility into these update mailbox rules. So you are able to detect more suspicious mailbox rule change and these forwarding attempts. Ultimately, it is really about providing you with visibility and strengthening the coverage against what we call living off the land account persistent tactics. We know that attackers love doing these in Entra ID and M365 environment. And these are also the things that native tools would miss in detecting as well, which is why we develop these detections, knowing what native tools are likely to miss. And this really helps our customers to catch account takeover attempts early on, investigate faster, and protect their Microsoft 365 environment better. And this use case is also very helpful for insider threats attempt because they are already in your environment and what they do in their mailbox, they try to exfiltrate data. It's something that normal or traditional prevention tools cannot detect, or even DLP tools. So these behavioral based detection really tell you what is not normal, what is malicious based on what we understand as attacker behaviors. So this is one of the examples on how we help you find the attackers.
Yeah. And I kind of want to just talk about this really quickly here that we don't really talk about that much is that our MDR team uses the detections that we have in our platform to um, basically find escalations within customers' environments. And I really wanted, and this, our conversation here reminds me of a moment where I was talking with the MDR team and the attacker created like a suspicious mailbox rule that was called TH. And it did something that was weird. And like you said, it was behavior based. Like if it was like just me, for example, creating a mailbox rule called TH, like it doesn't matter, right? But because we have these enhanced M365 detections where we actually kind of can pinpoint that suspicious activity, they can actually see it and they can actually stop the attacker from doing whatever it was they're doing. So it just reminds me of like, yeah, these detections really, really do make like they matter a lot. They matter
Yeah.
in terms of stopping attackers and helping our MDR team. So yeah,
Yeah.
just wanted to talk
And we
about
also not only look at one single behavior, but we look
that.
at what they
Right.
do before and after. So we correlate these activities to give you an urgency score to tell you this is really something that attackers will do and you need to look at it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We also have another coverage enhancement here for expansion resource logging for storage account. And this is our CR for Azure product. Can you tell me more about this? Yeah.
Sure. So, as we all know, logs in the cloud world are the source of truth in
Mm.
security. So, what we now do is that we consume resource logs tied to storage account as well. what it does is that we know that attackers love targeting storage accounts, and because there's all the sensitive data and information in Azure cloud. So what we do is we now collect the logs so that you have visibility into the impact or exfiltration behaviors later in the cloud kill chain, and we can use these raw logs to develop our detections. And one thing to point out is that we don't only ingest the raw logs and use it immediately, because we know that there are all sort of problems with raw logs, and that's a totally different conversation, which I have another podcast with our security research team, Dimitri, to talk about the challenge in security research handling raw Microsoft logs. What we do is that we also enrich them and enhance them
Mm.
based on what we know, and with our AI. So we really help give the context to security team that is needed when they need to do investigation and look at the raw data on that. So it's really important, and it really helps customers have more visibility into their environment, and also helps speed up their investigation. Yeah, so new customer, you get this automatically. Existing customer, our account team will reach out to you to run a script update so that you get these visibility as well.
That's so exciting. Once again, the convergence of coverage and clarity coming together to create something awesome. So that's really
Yes.
great. So now we're actually going to move into our clarity enhancements. So our reduce alert volume with enhanced AI triage. We talk a lot about AI triage here at Vectra, but Tiff, tell us more
Yeah.
about this.
Of course. So in Vectra, we were really proud of our how we provide signal clarity to security teams, because we know that you don't really need more alerts. You probably have too much in your SIEM already. What you lack is clarity, and really about finding the real and urgent threat at a critical moment without being overwhelmed by a bunch of false positives. So we created different AI agents to solve this problem. So the first one is AI triage agent. What it does is it automatically investigate benign activities so that it really cuts your alert volume, and we really help service the malicious activities. And then we have other agents, which I also have another podcast to talk about: AI stitching agent and AI prioritization, which helps service the real and urgent threats for you. And in this enhancement, we've upgrade our AI triage agents across all of the modern network, in network, C2, Recon, Entra ID M365, Copilot for M365, and also AWS environment. What is that does is that it further reduce your alert fatigue. We constantly improve our technology so that it filters out the benign activities even more, so that we surface the true and malicious activities for you even faster, which help you accelerate your investigation and response.
So I actually have a question for you, Tiff. How does our team decide what to triage? Like to basically to refine, reduce alert volume. Like this why yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good question. So our AI triage agent will study your environment, and
Mm,
learn what is normal to determine what is malicious.
mhm.
So there's learning in your environment as well, and based on statistical analysis and different AI models, we know what is benign, and that's how we automatically investigate those behaviors.
I see, I see. So what we're doing here in this enhancement is enhancing that agent to do like a better job, essentially. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right.
All right, so let's continue with the clarity enhancement. And I know that we've made some enhancement in attack graphs. So you walk us through that.
Yeah, and I actually did a podcast recently with Garrod about these attack graphs enhancements, and this really speaks upon our clarity story and visualizing the clarity that you get with the Vectra AI platform. So we have this amazing feature called attack graphs, and what we have done with that is added two new features to it, which is C2 blast radius. And that what that does, it shows all the hosts linked to that same C2. So you can actually see the entire breadth of the attack, really visualizing it and giving you that information within seconds, minutes if you
Mm,
wanted to dig a little bit deeper. So that's really important there, because sometimes, if we just focus on one, C2 or one host, it doesn't show the whole picture of the modern attack. So when we add that blast radius, we can actually see the impact of the attack itself. So we added that feature, and then we added targeted detections. And what that does is that actually traces the attacker movement and origin to patient zero. So the first place the attacker targeted. And that gives us a lot of information on like, well, first of all, like let's understand how the attacker moves, and then okay, let's understand the patterns the attacker moves so that we can, later on, solve for that, mitigate for that. So that targeted detections is also really great information for your investigations and gives you a lot of clarity into understanding how attacks work in your environment or how the attackers are moving it within your environment. What
Mm.
this means for security teams: sharper visibility, just faster investigations, more precise triage, and then helping analysts understand attacker pathways just instantaneously. And we talk a lot about in the podcast with Garrow, we talk a lot about like that visualization, reducing the mental load for analysts. Because you mentioned before, analysts are looking at so many things, so many alerts. That's a lot
Of
of
people.
information. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we can reduce it into something that is just there, present in a diagram form in a way that's very easily digestible, we want to do that. So it makes, their lives a lot easier. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's our enhancements
totally.
there.
Yeah, and I think one thing about this is that a lot of tools provide attack graphs, but what
Mm,
is different here is our coverage, actually,
yes.
because we have the whole modern network coverage. We correlate activities across your modern network, including your identity and cloud. So you don't only look at things in silo, and you really have the comprehensive visibility on attackers when they move across different domains, which we know they do. 40% of the attacks are multi-domain according to IBM. So I think this is the value there is about the correlation of multi-domain attacks in the attack graphs.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You got it right on the nose there. All right, we have a
Mm.
lot of fun. This is coming soon. We want to get you guys excited for some features that are coming out. And it's also about clarity here. So our extended EDR process context, give us a little sneak peek about this, Tiff.
Of course. So a lot of our customers are very excited about this. So in November coming up, Vectra AI stitching agents, we're going to have ingest CrowdStrike EDR context, process context into our Vectra AI platform as well. What it does is that it really takes investigation speed to a next level because now instead of analysts manually pivoting between different tools to figure out what process triggered a detection, for example, like whether a C2 beacon came from a browser or a PowerShell script, Vectra AI now does that correlation automatically. So the platform instantly connects NDR detections with their probable process from CrowdStrike EDR, which show the full picture right inside the console or through API. And the result for our security team is that it provides faster answers, less manual work, and also higher confidence on what actually happened on the endpoint. It really helps accelerate your investigation so that you can confidently take necessary action to stop the attack. So this is really exciting. Stay tuned
Yeah,
for that.
that's Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure we're going to talk more about it later too. So just keep an eye out for that as well. But it's really exciting because it really, we talk about the modern network, talk about modern attacks a lot. It's all of this. It's all EDR, identity, cloud, network. And now we're just pulling everything in together so that it makes it super simple for our analysts, for our security teams there. So very exciting. So that's it for September. If you want to read more about the just more details about what we talked about, please check out our knowledge base center for our support center for the release notes at this URL here. I will also link it down in the description. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Are you excited about any specific feature? Please comment below. We'd love to hear more about you. But that's all we have for today. Thanks, Tiff.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.